As most of you know, I've lived in South Louisiana for a month and a week so far. But one of the things that I have heard about the people who live in this area and that I am finding to be true is that you love to have fun. Anybody out there love to have fun? I got almost no response on the loving to wait, but I'm getting a good response on the loving to have fun. So our text for today talks about things like self-discipline and running and practicing. Those don't sound like fun, do they? Maybe you're saying, preacher, none of those are fun. You haven't lived here long enough to know what fun is. But maybe you feel like one of those professional musicians. When you hear that about practice, one of my good friends that's a professional musician said she needs one of those stickers for her car that says, I can't, I have practice. But hear me out. Many of the things that we do for enjoyment in life are built on practices. I know this past week on the news, I've been seeing news that came out from the Saints practice fields. I think about how we love to listen to or participate in concerts and hear music, right? Also built on practice. I think about some of the things that make some of the greatest difference in our life, and that is the practice of medicine, or perhaps the practice of law. So the thing is that some of those things that we enjoy and some of the things that provide for our enjoyment are built upon practice and discipline. This past week, as I was watching some of the clips from the Olympics, I saw great joy on people's faces as they placed the gold medal around their neck, or the silver or the bronze. And sometimes it was with shock. The person who won the gold medal in skateboarding, was really surprised. She had no idea that it was about to happen. And so the thing is, when I think about that moment of joy, I think about the moment of joy that we will have someday when we see Jesus face to face. The way that their face lights up, how will our face light up someday when we see Jesus? Perhaps some of you remember that really well-known song that came out in the 90s, Mercy Me did it. I can only imagine. Anybody, I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. Now, I have to take a digression for a moment because that man happens to be from my hometown of Greenville, Texas, and I did know him before he was famous. But I think about that moment, too, that incredible moment of joy when we see Jesus face to face, and how much more joy that will be than even receiving a gold medal around your neck. But in order for that to happen, we see here in the words of Paul, run to win. Run to win. So how do we go about running to win? Well, he outlines three specific things that we can do. First is that we can practice self-discipline. Second, that we cannot run alone. And third, that we are to keep a clear goal in sight. So let's take a look at some of these words more precisely. This practicing, going through, sometimes practice doesn't feel like the real thing. Now, as someone who had been a professional musician before being a pastor, I'll say that practicing does not feel the same as performing. But yet it is the basis of being able to perform. And the things that happen in practice are real. The things that happen in practice are real in life, in athletics, in music, whether we're practicing medicine or practicing law. And part of what happens in practice and in life and beyond are mistakes, right? It's mistakes. But if we think about those who are at the very best of what they do, how did they get there? Did they get there by making no mistakes? They got there by trying again. By trying again and again and again. By getting back up when they have fallen down or when life has knocked them down. And that perhaps is one of the most powerful things in this concept of self-discipline, is that self-discipline of being willing to get back up. As sometimes we would say where I grew up, that you get back up on the horse you fell off of. Anybody hear that, or is that just from where I'm from? You get back up on the horse that you fell off of, about not giving up. And part of that allows us to not give up is to realize that the practice of our faith is part of being integrated into a whole person. Our faith becomes part of the whole of who we are, just as those who race on the track or those who play on the field or in the performance are called to bring their best. They begin to realize that the things that they do when they're off the field, when they're off the stage, when they're out of the limelight, impact that which happens in the limelight. They realize that the foods that they eat, the things that they take in, the relationships that they have, all impact their experience on the field or the stage or in the operating room. But here's the good news. While an athlete might not have a good run at the Olympics, in part because of bad choices or in part because of things beyond their control, and it may be their only chance to get that gold medal, God gives us chance after chance after chance. Our God is a God who takes everything and can turn it into good. As one of my great mentors in the faith puts it, she says, God doesn't waste anything. We find this in one of the most famous of all scriptures. All things work together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. That's Romans 8:28. Now I want us to notice what it says and what it doesn't say. It says all things work together. Does it say all things are good? That everything that happens to us, every choice that we make, everything is good? No. It says God is able to take everything and bring good from it. God is able to take everything and bring good from it. Even if it's the mistakes that we made or the things that others have done to us. We serve a God that can take everything and make it good. And that's part of what should be able to help keep us going, that should be able to help us continue to move forward, continue to get back up, continue to go, continue to be self-disciplined. But another way that we can run to win is by not running alone. We were not called to run alone. This past week, one of the most incredible races was that of the women's 400-meter hurdles. And it was the fastest 400-meter hurdles that have ever been run, as the gold medal winner broke her own world record to win the gold. But you know what? The one who won silver also broke her own personal record. The gold medal winner, Sydney McLaughlin, said, when speaking of running with the silver medal winner, she said this. She said this, I think that it's really just iron sharpening iron. You know, you need somebody who's going to push you to be your best. I think that's what we do so well. Now, I don't know if McLaughlin knew that she was quoting scripture, but scripture teaches that we are like iron sharpening iron, that we are able to not only help one another up when we fall, when those things in life happen to us, when we get the diagnosis, when we lose the job, when we're overwhelmed, or to help us clean things up when we make a mistake, but also to help us when we are at our very best, to be even better, to move us on. As they say that practice makes perfect. Now, when I say that about practice making perfect, I don't mean that our goal in life is to make no mistakes, or that our goal in life is to make that perfect 10 or that perfect 8 on the gymnastics or diving platforms. Here in this text, Paul sets forth the goal, sets forth his focus at the very beginning. in which he says that we are to do, or that he is doing, all things I do are for the sake of the gospel, so I can be a partner with it. That this clear goal is to be a part of the good news of Jesus Christ, to be a part of it. And part of that is in moving towards what John Wesley called Christian perfection. Again, not being without mistakes, but moving towards a moment in which our motivations are completely pure, in which we are motivated only by love of God and love for one another. Now, I want us to imagine for a moment, how would our world be if the only motivations in life were loving God and loving one another? There would be many fewer hurts and worries, wouldn't there? There would be a lot less crime. There would be fewer mistakes. There would be less sorrow, and in the times of sorrow, there would be less loneliness. If we were in a space where only love for God and love for one another were the motivations. Even as it is, love is one of the greatest motivations that we have in this life. It, along with fear, motivates many of our actions. Think about it. Think about some of the choices that you make in this life. Aren't they based on love and fear? Even for those who drive on a daily basis, do you make some of those choices based on fear? Maybe you turn right and go down and make a U-turn because you're afraid of what might happen if you turn left. Anybody, or is that just me because I'm still learning my way around? Sometimes we make those choices based on fear. But sometimes in driving, we make those choices based on love. Just this morning, I met someone who drove all the way from Tallahassee to Belchase to see a family member. And they do this twice a month. That's a long drive. And why do they do it? Because of love, right? Because of love. And love is one of those things that sometimes causes us to face our fears. And sometimes the things that we do are motivated by love and fear. But love is the motivation that God calls us to have in running the race of life. In 2 Timothy 1:7, we read it this way: God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and self-control. Now, I love the way that the Amplified Bible puts this, because the Amplified Bible says it this way: for God does not give us a spirit of timidity or of cowardice or of fear, but he has given us a spirit of power and of love and personal discipline, abilities that can result in a calm, well-balanced mind and self-control. Now, I want us to hear about this love and fear, that does not mean to not be cautious. So often we see now that there's this comparison of love and fear, and saying that if you are operating in love, you will not be cautious. But that's not what Proverbs 27:12 teaches us. Proverbs 27:12 has these words: a prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. And it continues, the simpleton goes blindly and suffers the consequences. Taking precautions can be done as an act of fear, or it can be done as an act of love. I think about what happens when we place our youngest children in the car. They have all these different little connectors, or at least they did with my nephews and nieces. They still have them today, don't they? All these, it takes 4 or 5 different connections, and you've got to strap the seat into your car. And why do we do that? Because we love our children. We love our grandchildren. We love the children that have been entrusted to us. That is a precaution that is taken out of love. And that's part of what we have to do to run the race right now. We have to take precautions out of love for one another, and out of love for God. For God calls us to care for one another and to care for those who are most vulnerable. sometimes that's how we run the race. Running the race of faith. Running to win that race requires focusing on three things. Practicing self-discipline. Not running alone. I don't know about you, but sometimes I need somebody else to help give me that kick in the pants to get going. And keeping that clear goal in sight. That goal of being a part of the good news of Jesus Christ. That goal of being a part of what he has called us to be, which are people who love God and who love our neighbors. Like I told the children, sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes the best things are worth waiting for, right? That's what I'm encouraging us to do. To hold on, to be careful, to not go it alone, even if we don't see each other face to face. I know some of the people I call when I need that encouragement are hundreds of miles away. And to stay focused on Jesus Christ and his call to love one another. For in that moment in which we see him face to face, we will see love itself. God is love. That's what Scripture teaches. So when we look into Christ's face, that's what we will see. We will see love itself. Let us practice here on earth that which we hope to see in heaven. Amen.